Today, big dog, I'm going to be talking about 5 different powerful budget Yu-Gi-Oh decks that can fit everyone's wallet. Let's go ahead and jump on in. What's going on with ya, big dog? And it is an amazing day for Yu-Gi-Oh! I hope that's your day. Phenomenal. But if it isn't, don't let what happened at the beginning of your day ruin the rest of your day. Now, we do this every single week. You guys should already know what time it is. It's Update Monday. A particular time where we talk about something to not only benefit you as a player, but more importantly, to benefit you as a person overall, because that is the most important thing of this video. And one of the biggest things that I was actually talking about on stream last week is to value your own personal time. Now, I know, guys, between work, sleep, the gym that you need to go to, and your potential significant other, I say that with leery eyes because Yu-Gi-Oh players don't have girlfriends. It can be really hard to find time for yourself. It is incredibly important for us to have time to ourselves. Whether if it's playing the video game or even just hanging out with the friends, make sure you communicate with your loved ones that there needs to be a particular time that you need to spend with yourself or with your boys, just re-energizing so you can come back at it even stronger. I wrote these decks down because not only did I have the brokies in mind, I also wanted to keep in mind the new player or a potential player that wants to try a deck but doesn't want to drop a boatload of money on a particular strategy. So in this video, I have 5 different types of budget decks that I think that they're the best in their particular field. Let's go ahead and start off with the cheapest, best Yu-Gi-Oh strategy. I genuinely started looking at decks whose entire core cost under $15. And in my head, there were some pretty successful strategies. Decks like Dinomorphia have been relatively strong over the past few months. And then there's even strategies like Red Dragon Archfiend. I'm not giving it up, bro. Black Atlas is 10 toes down. Hey, if your girl not here, tell her you Black Atlas too, because you about to Red Dragon arch her back feet. But one deck stood out to me because it actually is getting support in Rage of the Abyss. I think that Goblin Biker is going to be a pretty good strategy for what you're paying for. Now, for the people that don't know, Goblin Biker is an XC strategy that can summon really powerful rank 3, 6, and now even 9 monsters to the side of the field. What makes the deck so special is their XC monster, Goblin Biker Big Gobanga, which not only gives you a search, but can attach cards on the field anytime a card is detached. You see, Goblin Bikers are really good at being able to detach and move materials off of your monsters and trigger some pretty cool effects. And before, the biggest problem with Goblin Biker was being able to have access into those cards. But now things get a lot better with Badass Goblin Bikers and Goblin Biker Grand Diddy Imprisonment. Just 2 more cards to be able to get into your important monsters to make plays. And the reason why I chose this deck as the most powerful, cheapest Yu-Gi-Oh deck is because it is one of those up-and-coming strategies. Players seem to be really big on Goblin Biker. It does have a plethora of options and a ton of XE plays, so this could be a strategy that can do really well into the next Rage of the Abyss format. But if you were a player that is looking for something budget and one of the best decks in the format, then you have to look no further than Tenpai Dragon. Tenpai Dragon is one of the most fast and furious decks in Yu-Gi-Oh! It is a complete scare to go against. I think one of the scariest things about Tenpai Dragon is that as a Tenpai Dragon player, losing the dice roll means absolutely nothing. In a card game, when going first means everything, Tenpai Dragon flips that completely on the head. And it has some really powerful cards to be able to back it up. Now, yes, this deck can be looked at as one of those dimensional shifter decks, and also, yes, it did get new support. The new spell card, Sangen Fury, allows you to be able to, once per turn, when an opponent's monster is destroyed by battle involving your fire dragon monsters, you can target one of those destroyed monsters and special summon it to your side of the field. Also, during your opponent's end phase, you can pay 1,000 life points to target one Sangen spell or trump card and set it, but banish it when it leaves the field. This card may be really good at being able to get that recently limited Sangen summoning back to your side of the field. But to be honest with you, this card doesn't even matter. The reason why I don't think that it's a really good card is because often when you're stealing your opponent's monsters, you can't always make a synchro play with them. Between links, exceeds, and just high-powered monsters, it's not always going to guarantee that taking your opponent's monster can benefit you. The next thing is that its second effect says during the opponent's end phase. When are we getting there? Tenpai Dragon has a knack for finishing games on turn 2. And because of that, this card pretty much defeats the purpose of even playing Tenpai Dragon in the first place. It's almost like the trap card Sangen Kaiho, a card that has really good effects when you look at it, but then you start thinking about it and you're like, that's not exactly what is good with the deck. This is one of those strategies that if you were jumping into the game and wanted to play one of the best, cheapest decks available, available? Well, this is the modern day Fluundereese without the damn, because you still got Shifter. Without the Fluundereese Impin. The Synchro Monster technically is Impin. God damn it! Now, I do think decks like Ritual Beast or even a type of stun that could fit in for the most proven meta. So again, let me know down below in the comment section, what do you think is going to be it if you disagree with me? And if you agree, just let me know, bro, because we already know Tenpai Dragon 2-stroke. But the next category I think is really important is the budget strategy with the most potential. Oftentimes, we want to pick up a Yu-Gi-Oh strategy that we know is going to get stronger. We pretty much accept these strategies as our pet decks, and they hold themselves near and dear into their heart until they become complete monsters in the metagame. Mine was Chimera. Chimera is ridiculously crazy right now. I almost don't want to play it, how unfair the deck is. And it was one of those strategies that was budget at one point in time, so maybe pick up this strategy while it's cheap before it gets really expensive. The strategy that I think that has the most potential is easily Sharks. A lot of players have been talking about how it's the year of the water, and just like how we got more fire support, we'll be getting water support. Looking at Supreme Darkness, it doesn't look like it'll hold true to that. I think it would be really cool for Konami to follow this theme until we can catch up with light, dark, and earth type monsters. But even if they gave us a year on of supporting one attribute, then a year off and did that, it actually would be cool too. So maybe in the future we get more water support or a year of water. There have been quite a few good sneaky cards for Sharks that have flown under a lot of players' radars. Abyss Shark, being able to summon itself to the side of the field and search another card from the deck to the hand. It's an extender that gets another extender. And then there's Buzzsaw Shark, a card that is a 1-card Bahamut Shark, which means that you can freely make Totally Awesome. These cards were always in Shark's DNA, so taking a bite into the next level shouldn't really be that hard. And the next level, it really goes, because Surfacing Big Jaws is a crazy good Yu-Gi-Oh card. Surfacing Big Jaws is searchable by that Abyss Shark card that I just said, and can also modify its level into a 3 or 5, giving you access to any of the water monsters that are 3 or 5 Exceeds. Sharks are potentially getting dangerous, and the cool thing about this is that I've only talked about just one new shark card. The old shark cards were pretty fun. What the strategy always lacked was more support to make it stronger, and it's finally getting it. This is just the second wave of good shark cards before we get that final wave to push it over the edge. Soon enough, we'll be getting a spell card called Seventh Tachion, which completely blows the deck out of the water. Pun intended. It's one of the many strategies that is an open secret, really strong Yu-Gi-Oh deck and can actually be decent right now. And speaking of open secrets, there is another strategy that's pretty much just that. The next category I have is the Secret Meta Budget Yu-Gi-Oh deck. This is a really powerful budget Yu-Gi-Oh deck that only some players know about. And what I mean by that is not necessarily knowing what the deck does. It's knowing if the strategy is going to be really good. Labyrinth, in my opinion, is that particular strategy. Now, there's multiple reasons why Rage of the Abyss is incredibly good for Labyrinth. The first is that the deck got support while not being supported. And I'm not talking about the cards you can play inside of your deck. A lot of times we like to look at meta shifts, situations that completely change how we play Yu-Gi-Oh! The card that is predicted to do that is going to be a card called Molchumi Flawless. A monster, when discarded, allows a player to be able to draw every time we summon from our deck or extra deck. That's huge.
Here we go again.
So with that in mind, players are going to start looking for strategies where you don't have to summon from your deck or extra deck as much, and that would actually be Labyrinth. And it's ironic because Labyrinth does have 2 really powerful cards that summon from the deck, Welcome and Big Welcome. But it's not the end of the world to, like, I don't know, not use them when your opponent shotguns Molchumi Flawless. And if they just so happen to shotgun Flawless in Perilia, well, setting 5 trap cards face down and ending your turn could be a really big bummer for them losing 2 cards out of their hand.
Ooh, I'm so scared, Kaiba. 2 cards face down. Oh, mercy me. What will I do?
Dominus Impulse is one of the most powerful trap cards in the game. The drawback is that you can't use Earth, Wind, or Light monster effects. Damn, that'd be crazy if Labyrinth only had dark monsters to use. On top of that, Dominus Pulse allows you to be able to get rid of a card if you have a trap card in the graveyard. This is like the perfect support for Labyrinth, and the best thing about it is that you don't necessarily need that card to be competitive. The deck is incredibly budget, especially thanks to all of the reprints that the strategy has had. And lastly, everyone's favorite, I promise you, bro, this deck is good. It's the best deck in the format. Red Dragon Archery. The strategy that I think is going to be really powerful as a budget deck that people are sleeping on is Millennium. That's right. Grandpa's deck does get support from Rage of the Abyss. Blue Eyes of the Heart, I think, is one of the most important cards for the deck. It being able to search Millennium Unk from your deck to your hand, which means you don't have to pay for your Millennium monsters, opens up all different types of possibilities. A lot of people really be sleeping on Exodia in 2024, but you can still get obliterated out here, my boy. Now, a lot of people don't read cards, but the Millennium monsters are based on putting them into spell and trap card zones, and then you can either pay 2,000 life points or reveal Unk to summon them to your side of the field. Most of our Millennium monsters do have an ability to search or do something really cool for the Yu-Gi-Oh strategy. But one of the best things about this particular deck is being able to summon Exodia the Fusion monster. The unstoppable Exodia Incarnate is a game wrecker. I think that this is going to be one of the most slept on decks, and the crazy thing is that it did actually get a top last week. But again, guys, I'm excited to hear what you have to say about what are your budget decks that you think should be noticed. I'm going to be reading and responding to as many people as possible. And if you have more questions or comments, you can go ahead and join me on Twitch. I'm actually streaming right now, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, 9 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. Make sure you drink water, hug your family, and check out these videos so I could catch you on the next one.